A modern enterprise operates at a massive scale, structured much like a towering skyscraper. At the very top, you have the penthouse. At the bottom, the engine room. Up in the penthouse, the C-suite speaks the language of finance and strategy. They make decisions based on ROI, CapEx, OpEx, risk thresholds, and speed to market. Down in the engine room, developers are building the actual machinery. Their language is highly technical: CI/CD pipelines, Kubernetes clusters, APIs, and loose coupling, building systems in independent pieces, so one failure doesn't crash the whole application. When the people setting the company's direction speak one language, and the people building the product speak another, executing a unified strategy becomes impossible. Separating these two extremes are dozens of floors of middle management, creating both a physical and operational divide. When executives hand down a strategic directive, it passes through layer after layer. Arriving at the bottom, the intent is completely distorted. The reverse is also true. Engine room warning pings bounce around the middle floors, fading out before reaching the top. As a result, executives might order a sharp pivot to capture a new market, completely unaware that their technical infrastructure is still moving in the old direction. Caught in this communication vacuum, IT remains an isolated, slow-moving cost center, rather than the agile engine the business requires. To bridge this massive gap, a specific role has to move between these floors: the enterprise architect. This role requires abandoning the ivory tower. Drawing static, theoretical design documents from a distance and tossing them over the wall to developers fails to address the actual disconnect. Instead, the modern architect rides the architect elevator, bypassing the slow crawl of the stairs. To survive this vertical ride, the architect must be bilingual, translating the technical realities of code into the financial logic of the business. For example, if engineers are struggling with a tightly coupled monolith, the architect doesn't explain software dependencies to the CEO. They explain that the current architecture prevents the company from releasing features as fast as their competitors, which is directly costing them market share. There is a trap when attempting this vertical journey: the lift boy anti-pattern. Lift boys are corporate opportunists. They ride the elevator down to the engine room, take a quick peek around, and never actually step off to do the work. They just collect trendy buzzwords, concepts like generative AI or even microservices, without understanding the technical constraints required to implement them. Then they ride right back up to the penthouse and use that empty jargon to impress executives and secure funding for their own projects. Ferrying buzzwords creates a deceptive sense of alignment. A true architect steps off the elevator, grasps the technical reality firsthand, and only then brings strategic recommendations back to the top floor. When a true architect does reach the penthouse, what exactly are they delivering to the CEO and CFO? They aren't there to present UML diagrams, and they don't dictate coding practices to executives. Modern architects sell options. This timeline graph shows a single project path reaching an upfront cost threshold, then splitting into multiple potential paths. In finance, an option is the purchased right, but not the obligation, to make a specific strategic move at a later date. In a volatile market, executives want flexibility. The ability to safely defer a massive decision until more market data is available is a quantifiable financial asset. Applying this to IT, paying upfront to build scalable, automated systems is the premium paid to buy that option. That initial investment allows the business to rapidly add hardware or pivot a product line 6 months down the road, but only if the market conditions justify it. This approach allows the architect to amplify the impact of every strategic decision. They create the technical capacity for the entire company to move faster than its competitors. By mastering the architect elevator and selling options, the architect connects the strategy to the machinery, turning the IT department into a dynamic engine that drives the entire business forward.